this was part of what we saw in Houston when he wanted out, when he wanted to change things there. So I think it's an interesting point. You played with one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. And Stephen A. makes the point. 2 shots, like nothing really in the second half. What do you make of that based on where you've been in these kinds of situations?
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, for a perennial, leading scorer in this league and a guy who's known for scoring, and for him not to only shoot 2 shots in the second half, I just don't understand the logic. Because in these type of games, you want to apply your dominance on the game. You want to show your teammates that you're here to prove to not only them but to yourself that I'm still that guy. I still can make this thing happen. And for him to only shoot 2 shots, I just don't understand the logic behind that.
I'm telling you right now, James Harden, the James Harden that we've known for years, and if he were in my face, I would challenge him with what I'm about to say. James Harden, with one leg on crutches, could get off more than 2 shots. That's how gifted of an offensive player he's been in his career. Now, has there been some slippage? Sure. Has he fully recovered from that hamstring? I don't believe so. He's never been the same since the hamstring injury. I totally understand that, which is why I'm not sweating the fact that he hasn't attempted ever 20 shots in a game since he arrived in Philly. I understand that. We're not talking 20. We're not talking 18. We're talking 2. We're not talking 11 points. We're not talking any of that. We're talking 2 shots. We're not even talking minutes. We're talking 2 shots. I am 54 years old. I couldn't shine these brothers' shoes. I promise you, on an NBA court, I could get off 2 shots. I might not make them. I might have a big donut of 0, but I could get off 2 shots. You could get off 2 shots. This brother had to end his career because of knee injuries. He could get off 2 shots right now. There isn't a person in the NBA that can't get off 2 shots. And one of the most prolific scorers we have ever seen in NBA history. We have talked about a guy that when you talked about him as a scorer, you said, could it be top 5 as a scorer? That's how prolific he was at one point in time.
All time.
All time. You can't get off more than 2 shots. I'm sorry, y'all. That's it. That there's something. I'm going to say what I said last night. Something smells. And this man knows me well enough to know when I say something smells, it smells. It smells. Everybody know what the hell I'm saying. The NBA community knows what the hell I'm saying. I mean, something smells. Something don't smell right. Something stinks. Now, y'all figure out what the hell that is. I don't know specifically. I can't say definitively, but damn it, something smells. That didn't look right. That did not look right. 2 shots. 22 minutes and 52 seconds, 2 shots for one of the greatest scorers we have ever seen in NBA history. I don't care how much slippage there is. With one leg on crutches, James Harden could get off more than 2 shots in an NBA game.
Absolutely.
There's no excuse.
Real quick to touch on this, because I like the fact that you brought up the D'Antoni part of it. Because right now in Philly, I can guarantee you, being from there, everybody is questioning everything. What do we do with this team? What the roster? What happens with Doc Rivers? They're questioning everything. And I'm sure his name is part of that conversation. You played for him a little bit. Do you think he could do a better job in bringing this team to the promised land?
I don't know. And bringing D'Antoni in, what does that mean for Joel Embiid? Because Mike D'Antoni is a up-tempo, fast-paced, pick-and-roll kind of coach. And Embiid needs the ball in the post. And when I played for Coach D'Antoni, I was more so concerned because I wasn't getting the ball in the post, and I felt like I could dominate the game in that space. That's an added, bonus for us if we can get a basket in the post. So I was always a little bit frustrated by not being able to get that and make that happen. So now with Joel Embiid there, you bring in Mike D'Antoni, and he's now not getting the ball in the post, and the game is more catered toward James Harden. What does that mean for Joel Embiid? Does he stay? Do they make a trade? A lot of things can happen, within this time frame.
Well, let me put it to you another way, more succinct. And his explanation was right on point, and I get where he's coming from. Not disagreeing with it. I'm just going to be a little bit more harsh with it. Hell no. You ain't doing nothing with D'Antoni that you couldn't do with Doc Rivers. Let's understand something. People tease D'Antoni because they feel the D should be removed from his name. Okay, that's what they think. Jamie Foxx joked about taking the D out of D'Antoni. You know, he still hasn't figured out that they have to play defense at some time. This is Jamie Foxx, the great Jamie Foxx, who did that when he was imitating me. Take the D out of D'Antoni, okay? I will put it in its proper perspective. And Stat knows this. Years ago, a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Jackson, former NBA player, now calling games on TNT and other places, does a phenomenal job. Really, really proud of him. This brother gets traded. He'll tell you the story. This brother gets traded to Phoenix. When he gets to Phoenix, he commits a turnover during a game. He hustles back on defense to prevent the play from happening and prevents the layup and fouls the guy. D'Antoni whistles for him to come over here. Get over here. Get over here. He goes over to Mike D'Antoni. Coach D'Antoni says, "We don't do that here. You don't stop the play. You let that man score. It keeps the pace going. Keeps the pace going."
Yep.
That's Mike D'Antoni.
Yep.
Now, he's evolved in his later years. Jeff Bezdilik and others who coached under him. Obviously, I don't know if it was just Bezdilik. I'm sorry, I forgot who it was. It might have been him. But guys that coached under him focused on defense a bit more. Coach Tevin, Coach Turner, the assistant coach, and other guys like that. They focused on defense more for him. But understand, he personally does not care about defense. He is all about offense. So if you want to show offensively, Mike D'Antoni's your guy. But if you believe that defense wins championships, don't count on him delivering in that department. That ain't who he is. That's just the way it goes.
And that's
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.